Good morning. Welcome to the Anthony Show. Carla Marie is not here today. Carla Marie is coming back from Canada. She is hanging out in Vancouver, well, in Whistler specifically, with the Seahawks. They had a whole event this week. This weekend. She will be letting me know if she can join around 8:30 and give us a recap of Seahawks weekend at Whistler. So we'll see if that happens or not. Obviously, between hotel Wi-Fi and everything that I've got to do on my end, who knows? Looks like we got another level of the hype train complete. Where are we at? Level 4 is complete. And as always, if we do get to level 5, then I'll be taking a shot. I don't know if Jordan is here today, but if she's not, I'll run back there and grab a shot myself. Let's see what we got in this chat. First off, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for not leaving me alone, because that would be really weird. But I did get some good news. We didn't really talk about this last week on the stream. I went to the orthopedic surgeon that originally checked me out for my torn Achilles, and I am all clear. I can do basically anything I want to do. I probably shouldn't jump right back into basketball, but running, playing basketball soon is definitely an option. Can do whatever I want in the gym. It was like a very, very big day. And the craziest part to me was I got in the car after the appointment and I got this like flood of emotions. And I didn't cry or anything like that, but it was like this weight was lifted off my shoulders, because this whole time I wasn't sure if everything that I was doing up until that point mattered or did anything. And my favorite part about it was I had shorts on under my track pants or whatever, joggers, and I take the joggers off, and the orthopedic surgeon looks at my legs, and he grabbed kind of both of them as I was sitting down. I was like, man, that calf definition, it's looking really good for this point in the recovery. And that was a nice little feather in the cap for my ego. But overall, he said that everything was going really well. All of the work that I put in has done something, and it's one of the better recoveries that he's seen, especially since I didn't have surgery. You know, they, as doctors, do their best to make the best assessment with the information given to them, but obviously everyone's bodies react differently, everyone heals differently. And he was really excited that the plan that we set out actually worked. And I think I have one more appointment with him in about 6 months. He said I don't even have to show up. I could just call him, because he just wants a final check-in with me, so that when he sees another patient that's in a similar position to me, where it was a partial tear, specifically where it is on the calf muscle or on the leg, he knows what the final outcome was, and he can kind of give them my story to make them feel better about their journey. So that was really cool. And because of that, I got into the gym last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and just went crazy. And one of the things that the doctor did tell me was, because I was telling him I've been trying to add more weight to some of the things I'm doing for my lower body exercises. And he said, listen, he goes, you're fine. You were in shape before. You're somehow in decent shape right now. And I've also never seen anyone tear their Achilles in the weight room. So do whatever you want. And once he said, do whatever you want, it was like this source of energy was unlocked inside of me. And I just said, screw it. I'm going heavy on everything I can. Now, I didn't do anything stupid yet, but it's really changed my entire mood. And I don't think I realized how much it was weighing me down for a while. I don't know if that sounds more dramatic than I intended it to be, but it definitely was. Scotty's at the gym as we speak. That's awesome. And yes, Hulkamania status does start right now. Okay, Seattle Cocktail Club. In honor of National Cocoa Day, which is December 13th, Anthony's drinking a Maletti Chocolata, I think is how I say it. So I'm going to assume that I'll see Jordan in a second, and she'll actually let me know how to say that properly because I don't think I did. There she is. All right, what am I drinking?
It's Miletti's.
Oh, Miletti's.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is it? Just straight from the bottle?
Straight from the bottle.
Sweet. Thanks, Jordan. Oh, we had this. I think we had this last year, and it was very good. So, cheers to everyone who supported the stream this morning. Thank you very much. Woo! That is very good. Tastes just like chocolate. One more time. Miletti. There you go. Phenomenal for the holidays. If you want to bring that to a holiday party, I'm sure people would enjoy it. All right. I think it was Heather on Long Island that suggested during the countdown that we do Q&A with tones, as she said it. And I feel like that would be kind of a fun thing to do this morning. I do have some other stuff to talk about. Mainly, I was talking to a friend of ours who has an OnlyFans, and she told me one of the very interesting things that she does for money that I could never see myself paying for. But nonetheless, we will talk about that in a little bit. For the mailman, it's my dad's birthday today. Can we get a birthday song for Pops? Absolutely. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Papa Mailman. All right, here we go. Let's go back into the chat. Let's see if this works today. Oh, it does work. Phenomenal. And if you missed it before, Carla Marie might be joining in with us. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the stream together function on Twitch actually works today. And, this is actually crazy radio news that I saw on Instagram this morning. So if you're in the Seattle area, you had a chance to listen to the show. But if you're basically anyone, you might know who this person is. So Danny Bonaducci, who shot to his stardom early in life as a child star on The Partridge Family, right? Is that the show? Yes. He has done radio for a long time. Did it in Philly for a little bit, did it in LA, and has been doing it now for a dozen years in Seattle. And he's retiring this Friday. He posted on his Instagram that it is his last show this Friday, and he's just fully retiring, moving to Palm Springs, and just enjoying life, which I'm happy for him because he's been in the public eye basically his whole life. So hopefully he does get to just chill out and retire. I'm sure he'll like pop in and do guest spots on different programs, but that man's been working for a long time, and he was one of the nicest people that I got to meet in that building. Also, Jake did tell everyone where he was moving, baby Jake, and he is going to be going to Miami. So if you're in the Miami area, make sure you hit him up on social media. I think it's Producer Jake. What is his Instagram? Producer Jake, Jake the Producer. Jake the Producer on Instagram. That way, if he needs any recommendations or help or anything like that, I forgot what part of town he's moving to, but he did tell me. He just hadn't moved there when I talked to him on the phone last week. Texas Chris said, Danny had a great guest spot on the Last Call podcast. Oh, he did. That's right. So when we had our Last Call podcast, when it was me, Carla Marie, Alabama, English Evan, we had Danny come in, I think 2 days in a row. And he's just one of the best storytellers and has a way to keep you engaged even if you don't really care or know what he's talking about. Just the way that he addresses people, the way he speaks to people. And he was, listen, I know he had a crazy past, but by the time we got to meet him here in Seattle, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. B Delps, welcome to the show. Appreciate having you here. You know, it's interesting when people come in here and apologize for not being in here live more often, which obviously we want everyone here live every day, but we get it. Like, you're busy. You got a life. It's okay. You don't have to apologize. As long as you make time for us at some point, whether it's here, YouTube, the Morning Show podcast, That's all that really matters. That's one of the reasons we try to be in as many places as possible, because you are busy. And if you can't be here while we're live, that's cool. This is from, is this Bianca? I can't see who it is. Oh, Ben Cal. I don't know. I saw Bianca from far away. The only time I'm not live is if my boss decided to pop in. Well, yeah, that makes sense. It's probably not a good idea to let your boss know you're here while you're working. Jake the producer is his handle if you want to do that. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, so should we do a Q&A, or should I go into my friend who has her OnlyFans and see what you guys think of how she makes a decent amount of money, actually? Also, shout out to Athletic Greens. Had my Athletic Greens drink this morning. All right, Q&A, Veronica. What do we got? Let's throw some questions in there, and we'll just start going. Listen, I saw Veronica's message first, so that's what we're going with. Oh, but then Veronica said maybe as we type our questions, you say the story. All right, we'll do that. So this might take the conversation in a different place. But anyway, yesterday I met up with a friend for lunch, and she was telling me about how she's done OnlyFans for a while. And like nothing crazy, because the amount of things you can do on OnlyFans varies drastically. So some people don't do any sort of nudity at all. It's just a subscription service to whatever their content is. And then some people, like this woman I used to work with, or I worked with one day at one of the clubs here in Seattle, does full-on porn now. Like lots of people, lots of videos, lots of pictures. So you could kind of fall anywhere on that line. So the person that I was talking to yesterday doesn't do anything that would be necessarily considered like explicit. Oftentimes it's just like underwear pictures and some booty pictures, I think maybe. B-O-T-T-Y, not booby. But she was telling me all the different ways you can make money on OnlyFans. So you have your regular subscription, and you've got chatting features where people can pay for like $20 for 5 minutes of chatting. Still, I don't know what the actual price breakdown is. But what some women are doing on OnlyFans is they are getting paid to rate wiener pictures. So essentially what you would do if you own a wiener is you would take a picture of it and send it to this person on the internet consensually, and you would pay them, and they would tell you what they thought of it. And not only have I never wanted to show my wiener to a stranger, I've never wanted to pay for that. I've also never really wanted to know what a stranger thought of what it looks like. But this is a thing that she'll basically do like once a week. And you submit your pictures, and then she'll just go through and say like, not great, or wow, that's awesome. And people will sometimes specifically ask her to be mean when she's rating their wieners. I forgot, who was it? Melissa just asked, doesn't Carla Marie get unsolicited wiener pictures? She doesn't get them as much anymore, but this is where I think the world sometimes balances out. The amount of women on the internet in general that have probably gotten unsolicited wiener pictures, if you can turn that around and make it profitable and solicit for them and get paid, go for it. If there's someone willing to pay, I mean, take their money. Yeah, I don't know what's happening in the world, but again, I'm not going to get in the way with how people make their money. Brother Mailman said, do the weens get the same rating as USDA meats? I did ask her, though, while we were, because I'm sure everyone's curious about this. We're sitting there having a very nice lunch, and I said, okay, but out of all of these pictures that you've seen of strange men sending you their thing and paying you to tell them how you feel about it, have you ever been impressed by one of them? And she said there were one or two that she was not expecting to be as impressive as they were. But she said most of them were not anything special, which I could have told her because I see a lot of wieners in the locker room, and it's not fun. It's just not a great place to be. It's also weird that some people, and I get it, it's a locker room, you're going to see a wiener or two, but certain people are so comfortable being naked that they'll sit there, old or young, and they'll brush their teeth naked. They'll walk from one end of the locker room to the other naked. They'll have a towel in their hand. Like it's right there. They could have covered up if they wanted to, and they don't. Right? Like, I understand if you're putting on shorts or something, there might need to be a flash of a wiener here and there, but if you have the towel in your hand and you're walking from, let's say, your locker to the shower, it just seems normal to me to put it around your waist and then walk instead of walking it with it over your shoulder or in your hand. I don't know. It's a very weird situation. So this is my brother, Jolly Russian Buddhist, and he said, actually disagree. The locker room is the only place nudity is presumed. I'm not saying I shouldn't see any weens in the locker room. I understand what's going on there. People are changing. People are getting ready to go to the shower, whatever, drying off. I just think there are situations where it makes sense to just cover yourself. You know? Like, again, I think the walking from your locker room, from your locker to the shower, it's not a quick walk. You've got to walk by the sinks, the urinals, the sauna, and then get to the shower. Poorly planned locker room, if you ask me. But they do the whole thing with their towel in their hand. You could have easily just done and then gotten to the locker room or gotten to the shower. But hey, teach their own. Okay, Veronica, let's see. We got a question. Let's see if I can put this on the screen. Q&A. I've gotten a glimpse of your amazing planning Excel sheet for the podcast. In terms of project management and content planning, what are your top tips for planning out the podcast so that you don't fall too far behind, but also everything stays relevant? So for the morning show podcast, the only things that we do, I would say more than a couple days in advance, are the games. Because those are kind of evergreen for the most part. You can play them whenever. There are days, for example, Christmas, Halloween, that we try to get themes going. And we could pre-plan those as well. In terms of everything else, the core four is generally done the day before. Pop Stop also usually done the day before. And then the three other segments that can be done at least 1 or 2 days in advance are Hope for Humanity, Nerd News, and What's Trending. And then the intro and outro, if we need to, like if one of us is traveling, for example, we'll sometimes pre-record those because A, they're easy to fix if something happens that we need to, adjust. But also because we have to do those together, we'll record those in advance. But I'd say everything you hear on the podcast, with the exception of the games, is at least done that week. Usually done the day before. More often than not, the whole thing is done the day before, the night before. And being on the West Coast helps a lot because while you're sleeping on the East Coast, let's say it's 10 o'clock, it's still 7 here. We're still getting news and still updating things so that it's relevant when most of America, at least, is waking up. It would actually be interesting to see what would happen if we moved back directly to the East Coast, like all the way over to Jersey, because it would be an adjustment period for us. I don't know if we would stay up later, but it would be interesting. Thank you for the question, Veronica. All Did we get other questions in here? Man, doing this thing, I don't know how streamers do this alone on a regular basis. Okay. From Martha, how are your game applications? Do you have a lot of people that have signed up? Honestly, I have no idea. Carla Marie handles all of that. I'll sometimes schedule if there's people that we know. For example, when we did the week of podcasters that are also on our same network, both of us were working with everyone to plan that out. When we had some radio people, I think I planned most of those out. But when it comes to the submissions on the website or on our Google Sheet, that's all Carla Marie. So I have no idea. We could have 2 people that have signed up, or we could have 200. I'd have no idea. Where did you put Buff Pikachu? Buff Pikachu is, I can see him. He is in like those IKEA cubby things you can get for like pretty cheap. He's on the bottom left with a bunch of Pokemon cards. I think I do have to clear out some of the Pokemon stuff from the studio because it looks like Pokemon's endorsing us at this point. We've got, you know what? Hold on. Let me show you all the Pokemon stuff we have. Don't go anywhere. Anywhere. Got those. All right. Whew. So this is not even all the Pokemon stuff that we have because there are, I think, 4 more packs of these booster packs for the trading card game. These are salt and pepper shakers that are Pikachu. Buff Pikachu's right here. Park Ranger Pikachu, apparently, or I don't know what Safari Pikachu is what they're calling him. And why can't I think of Turtwig is this big plush. So Turtwig, Slowpoke, Pikachu, another Pikachu, more Pikachu, and then cards. Now, these trading card games, put my headphones back in just in case the phone rings or something. The Pokemon trading card games, I don't know what to do with them because part of me wants to do a pack opening, but at the same time, these are like pretty valuable unopened. And when I say pretty valuable, I think like people are selling these online for $300-400. So I think I might, I don't know. I got to talk to the person who gave them to me and see what they want to do. Because once I found out how much they were worth, I automatically felt guilty. So now again, or not again, but the thing to think about is people are posting them for $300-400. I don't know if people are actually buying them for that much because you can still go to Target and get packs of these if you can find them for like $30. So I don't know. Where'd the chat go? Yeah, I'm also surprised Carla Marie has allowed this much Pokemon stuff in the studio, but she didn't really have a say in it because they're all gifts. It's not like I brought them in. I mean, all those stuffed animals were from a friend of the show who was also part of Seattle Cocktail Club, who works at Nintendo, and they were just in his car, apparently. I think the salt and pepper shakers were also from him, but I could be getting that incorrect. Yeah, we got a lot of Pokemon stuff. And part of it's because the Nintendo and Pokemon headquarters in America are both across the water in Redmond, Washington. So there are a lot of people who work for those companies that listen to the show, which is pretty cool. Let's see. You can only do a pack opening if you're going to properly store them. That's from Ben Cal. But I would need to get, I guess, like a binder that has all of the card slots in it, like I used to have I used to have them for some Pokemon cards, but I wasn't a huge Pokemon card collector. I was mostly just the kid that liked playing the Game Boy games. I love this. So Angela said, I love how excited you are for all the Pokemon stuff, Tones, just a kid at heart. I think that's kind of the goal for everyone, though, right? Not Pokemon, but just staying excited about things, even if they're nerdy or stupid. Like, I know that Pokemon cards aren't, like, important to anything, but they bring me joy, and I'm just going to be a nerd about it, and that's okay. I was talking to a friend yesterday about how one of the most freeing things you can do as a human being, and I think it connects with everyone at some point, at a different point in your life, is realize it doesn't matter if anyone else thinks you're cool. It really, really doesn't. And I think if all of us just realize we're all losers, there's something that all of us are nerdy about. There's something that makes all of us weird. And if we just appreciated all of that, we'd all be much, much happier. The idea, because I think the idea of wanting to be cool kind of lingers after high school, and you want kind of strangers to think that you're a certain way, or you want strangers to accept you. And once you start realizing it doesn't matter, life is pretty awesome. Let's see. Run Like a Husky said people shouldn't be so judgmental of others. 100% agree. All right, now this is the kind of idea that I need in this chat, guys. DJ Synth said you should get a custom Pokemon card with Max, the cat. That I would put, because right now I've got Litten on the back of my phone, which is a cat type or a cat fire type Pokemon. But if I could get Max in there instead, yeah, that'd be my favorite Pokemon card. Lenny said, I wish someone told a couple, what was it? Oh, I wish someone told a couple of people I play with that. You can tell they peaked in high school. Yeah, there's always those people that still kind of act in that weird looking for acceptance / cliquey high school demeanor or manner, and you don't want to be around those people. Soira, my mid to late 30s, I've become so much more free and not caring what people think. I've become, oh, it just skipped on me. God damn it. I've become the embarrassing mom dancing in the supermarket. Yeah, do it. Dance wherever you want. Dance like a fool. Who cares? Ooh, this is a good question from Tacoma Swifty. Which region of Pokemon is your favorite? Or between starter options, grass, water, fire, do you always normally stick to the same type? So for those of you that aren't familiar with Pokemon, each game is set in a different region for the most part. Each new game, I should say, is set in a different region. Man, that is tough. I think overall, my favorite game and region is probably the second generation, which would be Gold and Silver. I think that game is one of the best full-on stories. Plus, once you beat it, you can actually go back to the original generation and play that whole map. So I'd probably go with that. And then I normally lean, again, for people who aren't familiar with Pokemon, you have 3 types that you can start with. So the ones you might be familiar with, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. And those are fire, water, and grass types. So I normally lean fire, I'd say. Fire, then grass, then water. But I also just go based on how I think they look. So that's normally my go-to. Oh, which Pokemon game would you recommend I get for my Nintendo Switch? That is actually pretty easy. I would go with the last one, Sword and Shield. I really enjoyed. The current one that I'm playing, which I haven't played since we started No Nonsense November, that is Scarlet and Violet. And I feel like it just takes too long to get into the actual game. There's a lot of like dialogue you've got to go through. I think Sword and Shield was much easier to just like jump into. But you can also play. No, actually, I wouldn't suggest Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu. There's like a weird mechanic to the game in terms of catching Pokemon. It's not a typical Pokemon game. But Sword and Shield, a lot of fun. The last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Yellow. Yellow's good too. Yellow was the first one they made for Game Boy Color. But I know no one tuned in today for Poke Talk. What if I did a Poke Talk stream? And I wouldn't do it by myself, though. I'd have to have a guest on maybe once a month. And we just do like, we play Pokemon, talk about Pokemon, get real nerdy. And then maybe the Pokemon company will see it and they'll invite me to their offices. And then I could do a stream from the headquarters in America and go to the Poke Center if that's a real place. PokeX Talk, TED Talk for nerds. I need to check with Carla Marie and see if she's going to be. Let's see. Hello, are you joining? I know she has to be on the bus back with the Seahawks staff at exactly 9. Oh, I think she just joined. Hold on. No one can see you yet, Carla Marie, so don't do anything weird. Can you hear me? Okay, Carla Marie can hear me. Let me hit show on stream. And we'll see if I can get her up here. Uh-oh. Where is it? Okay, so I need to now move this camera. Okay, you're super zoomed in, Carla Marie, so you're going to want to move back a little bit, and let me adjust this camera now. Okay, don't do anything weird yet. This is so annoying. Oh, no. I just deleted a bunch of stuff. I think I need a new mouse or a new battery. I am very confused. Like nothing is working here. Now they can. People can hear you.
Hi, everybody. I was watching
you're just not on the screen yet, so.
Oh, that's fine. So it's like a phone call?
Kind of. Yeah, you know what? We'll just do that. Just talk because for some reason the whole screen is messed up right now.
All right, good. I'll turn off my light. Don't even try to do it.
Okay.
I was watching the show starting at 8:15 when I got out of the shower.
Oh, wow. You've been in here for a while.
Yeah, I was lurking.
And what did you think so far?
Well, the last 10 minutes have been making me want to jump out the window.
All the Poke Talk?
Yes. But
are you
good so far.
You're wearing wired headphones right now?
I am. Why?
Because I think I can hear like your hair or something rubbing against the microphone. I keep hearing.
I don't know what to tell you.
Not a big deal. So how was the trip?
It's so fun. So much fun. I'm actually so sad to leave, but I can't wait to see my kitties.
So explain to everyone where you are and what's going on.
I am in Whistler, Canada at a ski resort, Whistler. And I am up here with the Seahawks because we have a whole like fan base in Canada. The Canadian 12s or 12 North is what we call it. They are the Canadian, I guess, representation of our American fans, if that makes any sense. So there's a whole set of people whose job it is to kind of make sure there are events here. And there's the whole like Instagram for that account. So we did a watch party here this weekend, but also did 2 kids flag football camps because they don't really have any flag football here. And because it's coming to the Olympics, they want to kind of get kids excited for it. So we held 2 camps this weekend. I got to ski with Blitz and we did a watch party yesterday of the game.
Speaking of the Olympics and flag football, did you talk to the people like within the organization about how do they feel about America's chances in flag football in the Olympics? Because I don't think any other country is going to come within like 50 points of America.
I mean, that's not a conversation that came up, and
No?
I actually could have, because so we also had a Seahawk legend here with us, Lofa Tatupu.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
amazing.
he's awesome.
He does he is so fun. So I was hanging out with him almost all day yesterday, and I was asking him like some random questions. I was asking him like, who did you hate the most when you were playing, like that you had to play against? That wasn't like public knowledge. But then last night we were all hanging out, and I was like, so does it hurt when you fall? And I specifically meant like, do you feel like rug burn when you fall on turf and grass? And he was like, in the moment, no. But when you're showering after the game, you feel every scratch and it burns. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I guess I could, next time I see him, I'll ask him.
When you play on turf, and even this is for anyone who's even played in like a flag football game, when you play on turf and you fall, because like he said, of the adrenaline, you oftentimes don't realize all the scrapes and burns you have, and then you shower, it burns. Absolutely burns. One of the reasons that I actually hate playing on turf, which I'm sure players would agree as well.
Well, we had a great time with him yesterday. What else? I think. I don't know. I just had the most fun time ever hanging out with everybody and like getting to know people that I like only see on game day or training camp, like getting to know them as humans and not just like people that I see in the crazy times of their job. So that's been really fun because we had 2 team dinners where we just like got to hang out, relax, drink. It was good.
And how was skiing with the mascot Blitz?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. Though Blitz couldn't really see much, so it was a bit dangerous for that bird, but
I saw he had goggles on. He should have been able to see fine.
Yeah, they didn't really have ventilation, so there was a straight fog. And honestly, the visibility on the mountain was like not great because it was super cloudy. It was snowing, so it was one of those days where it was hard to tell where the ground was and where the sky was.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have low visibility and your goggles are bad, then that's just a bad combination.
So we skied for like 2 hours, and I like obviously knew it was like super cool. And then later on in the day, I was like, there's probably like under 10 people in this whole world that can say they skied with an NFL mascot.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was pretty wild.
And how were the Canadians at flag football?
Well, they were small children ranging from like the age of 6 to maybe 13.
Okay. We got to keep an eye on them, though, because if anyone's going to challenge America in like, I don't know, 12 years in flag football, we got to make sure we knock some of these kids down a peg or two, you know?
That's fair. They were wild. I mean, day 2 of the camp was definitely a birth control inducing day. So that was like eye-opening experience. But no, it was really, really cool. It was more like they did drills and stuff, which I kind of wanted to be like, can I do it? I want to see how I am.
Yeah, you should have.
But I was working.
Were the kids throwing passes to one another, or was like Tufa doing that?
Lofa. And
what's his last name?
Tatupu.
Yeah, that's what I messed up. Okay.
So he day 2 he was there and he was like helping with one of the drills. So there were like different drills where like you had to pass the ball, like throw the ball to the kid, and then he would have to run, you try to get his flag and stay within the cones. And then like the next one was like, doing shuffles. And the next one was like your speed time. It was all different things and the kids would rotate.
Can you get a list from someone at the Seahawks of all the drills they had to do, and then you and I can go to a field and recreate it and see how you do?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I think that would be fun.
Okay, but I did just get an alert that my breakfast is waiting for me in the lobby, and I got to get on the bus soon.
See ya.
Okay, bye, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
I don't know why you're smiling at the camera. No one can see you. All right, bye. End stream. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why the stream wasn't letting me put her on, but I'll figure that out later. Actually, I won't have to figure it out until next year because we've only got 2 more shows left after this, which is kind of wild. I am very excited to have a full vacation. I know we had in October, we were in Aruba, but not having to worry about like lugging cameras and microphones and stuff like that around is going to be great. And I always look forward to this. I think it's also something that's carried over from our radio days, because generally speaking, like all of radio and music shuts down for the last 2 weeks of the year. So we kind of just kept that going. And it's a good time to kind of like reset our brains a little bit. I will work a little bit, like I said earlier in the show, or maybe that was during the countdown, but I will work on adjusting some things for the stream itself, but that won't involve actually going live or creating any new content or anything like that. Oh, thank you, Ron Lakowski. Ron Lakowski said, you guys so deserve the vacation, but we will miss you. It is weird. This even happened in Aruba. It gets to a point after the first 2 or 3 days of being on a vacation, and this, I know I can speak for Carla Marie too, we get to a point where we miss all of you as well. It's weird. It's because we've become so used to spending all of our mornings with you. We've done it now for 2.5 years. It's kind of wild that it's like seeing people at school every day, and then you just go 2 or 3 weeks without doing that. It's weird. It's an adjustment. But you know what? We'll still appreciate it. Anytime you can create your own schedule to be off for half of December, I'm all for it. Hell, I would do it too if I could. That's Angela in Spokane. And I think one of the reasons that most people, because when you're creating content, for example, right, like in a general sense, we are, I guess, content creators. The biggest concern is that people are going to forget about you, or your numbers are going to go down for a week and a half or something. And that's why, even though it seems like a super fun job, which it can be at times, you start seeing people who decide to be content creators full time get super stressed out because you don't have paid vacation. And for the most part, outside of the top like 1% of creators, it's not like you're making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. You are making it somehow, making it work. But we've done a good job of understanding that you do have to rest. And yeah, sometimes numbers dip, right? We're not going to have like December's total podcast listens, for example, will be lower than the rest of our months. But when you work with good partners and clients who understand the ebbs and flows of what your life as a content creator is, they understand that you need that time to make a better product, which then helps them. So we've been blessed to have obviously a great community in you guys that understands we need a rest. We work with each other that way, and partners that say, yeah, you guys work your ass off all year. Go enjoy time with your family. Go let your brains relax, because as any small business owner will tell you, when everything is dependent on your effort, you think about every single decision and every single moment and every single wasted opportunity or opportunity that maybe didn't turn out the way that you thought it would. So being able to take a break from that, we are very, very fortunate. Let's see. Oh man, there's a lot of messages in here. Now we have about 9 minutes left. And I know we were doing some question and answer before. If there's anything like that, please let me know in the chat. And I don't know if Carla Marie said this when she did her solo show when I was in Vegas. Doing a solo show makes you really appreciate the person that you work with on a daily basis, because it's so much easier being able to kind of bounce ideas back and forth. I never understood, like I use him as an example all the time as someone in radio who, even if you don't think he's a good host, and now he's on TV as well, what he does is pretty incredible. Colin Cowherd, who is a sports, I don't know, radio, TV, talking head guy. And he has had co-hosts from time to time, but they don't really do that much other than validate him and sometimes do like 4 news stories or something. But he can go on a tangent for 25 minutes talking to nobody. And it's actually very impressive. When you're on this side of it and you see someone that's able to do that and do that well, do it at a high level, man, it is crazy because that is not a life that I want. And it's funny because Carla Marie and I have been paired up together as co-hosts since 2014, basically when we started the podcast. And I'd say on a monthly basis, someone asks us, oh, well, when do you guys want your own shows? Or do you want to do a show by yourself? And it's never been anything that I've wanted to do because I've always wanted to be a part of a team. I don't know why. Maybe there's like some weird fear I have of going out on my own. I don't know. Oh, I just saw Fred the Mailman said, B Delp sending you big love. What is going? Did I miss something? Let me see if I can find what that was. Oh, B Delps. Well, you guys are off. We'll be moving forward with our IVF. Oh, that's awesome. And doing our frozen embryo transfer. It's our only good embryo and only opportunity to become parents. Woo, please keep us in your prayers. Absolutely. I can't imagine the stress that creates, but man, good luck. Hope everything obviously goes really, really well. And I can't wait to hear about it. When does like the actual transfer go down? I don't know how any of this stuff works. So if I phrased that wrong, please forgive me. Thursday afternoon. Maybe, I mean, if you got time, if you wanted to call in on Thursday, it'll be our last show of the season, if you will. Oh man, that 2 weeks of waiting that's going to be tough, I'm sure. Yeah, we'd love to talk to you on Thursday if you have some time. Obviously, you're going to be having some other things on your mind as well, so you don't need to make time for us. You know what? I think that's a good place to end today. If everyone wants to hop in the chat, wish B Delp some good luck on Thursday. Obviously, we'll be here tomorrow and Thursday as well. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you for letting me just yap for 55 minutes or so. And we will be back tomorrow. Carla Marie, I mean, unless something goes terribly wrong, we'll be here as well. Peace out.